in the quiet town of Meadowbrook. Justice was supposed to be simple, but for Ethan Ward, it became a nightmare that stole 7 years of his life. They said he murdered his wife. The evidence was clear, the jury was certain, and the town, once his home, turned against him overnight. But the truth, as it turned out, was far darker than anyone imagined. Ethan and Laura Ward were high school sweethearts. He worked as an auto mechanic. She was a local teacher. Together, they raised their young daughter, Sophie, in a small house on Pine Hill Drive. By all accounts, theirs was a picture-perfect marriage until the night of June 12, 2016. That night, Laura was found lifeless in their bedroom. The scene was brutal: broken lamp, shattered glass, and blood on the bedsheets. Ethan said he found her like that after returning from work late, but the police didn't believe him. The detectives were quick to act. They claimed there were no signs of forced entry, no missing valuables, and that Ethan's fingerprints were everywhere. One neighbor even told police she heard shouting earlier that evening, "A man's voice," she said. And when investigators discovered a life insurance policy worth $250,000 in Laura's name, Ethan became the perfect suspect. He was arrested within 48 hours. During the trial, prosecutors painted Ethan as a jealous husband who snapped. They showed photos of the scene, cited the insurance motive, and called the neighbor to testify. The defense argued that the evidence was circumstantial, but it didn't matter. The jury deliberated for less than 4 hours. Ethan Ward was found guilty of second-degree murder and sentenced to 25 years in prison. His daughter, Sophie, was just 6 years old when she watched her father taken away in handcuffs. For 7 years, Ethan maintained his innocence. He wrote letters to anyone who would listen: journalists, innocence projects, even retired detectives. Most never replied. Until one day, a young investigative reporter named Maya Collins came across his file. Something about the timeline didn't add up. According to the coroner's report, Laura's estimated time of death was between 7 o'clock and 9 p.m. But Ethan's time card at the auto shop showed he clocked out at 9:17 p.m., and surveillance from a nearby gas station placed him miles away from a house at 8:45. Evidence that had never been shown to the jury. Digging deeper, Maya uncovered more inconsistencies. The neighbor who testified about hearing a man's voice, she later admitted she wasn't sure which house the sound came from. And the life insurance policy that painted Ethan as greedy, Laura had purchased it herself just 3 months before her death through her school's employee plan. The real breakthrough came from an unexpected source: Detective Alan Pierce, the retired officer who had originally worked the case. Pierce confessed that he'd always had doubts, especially about a partial fingerprint on the broken lamp. The print didn't match Ethan, but the department's database was incomplete at the time, so it was never pursued. With Maya's persistence, that print was retested. The results changed everything. The fingerprint belonged to Derek Vaughn, Laura's co-worker, a man who had been fired from her school a month earlier after she reported him for inappropriate behavior. When questioned, Vaughn broke. He confessed that he'd broken into the house that night, intending to confront Laura, but panicked when she resisted. Ethan Ward had never been there. On March 2nd, 2023, Ethan Ward was officially exonerated. After 7 years behind bars, he walked out a free man, holding the same photograph of his daughter he'd kept since his first day in prison. The town that once condemned him now welcomed him back with tears and apology letters. But Ethan didn't speak much. When asked what he wanted most, he simply said, Time with my daughter. That's the only justice that matters now. Justice in Meadowbrook was delayed, but not denied. And for Ethan Ward, truth came at a heavy cost. A cost no one should ever have to pay. For a crime they didn't commit. Justice delayed is never justice denied. Subscribe for more true stories from At Crime Scenes Point One.